The defendant, Eligio Bishop, is charged with raping a woman who wanted to leave his religious group that he called Carbon Nation. Our own Court TV, Ted Rollins, has a closer look at the case.
In this video, I will be teaching you how to think. And I know a lot of people are already saying, mind control.
The alleged cult leader of Carbon Nation, Eligio Nature Boy Bishop, was arrested after a former cult member claimed he posted revenge porn after she left him.
But truly, I'm a really sweet person. They want to crucify me, they want me dead. There's the hate around me. You can feel it. That's like any other prophet. Only me, I'm the return of Christ.
Carbon Nation is a polygamist group that believes in nudism, sexual education, veganism, and that members hand over all financial information to their leader, Eligio Bishop. He has amassed significant followings on YouTube and Instagram. A former member of his group spoke with an Atlanta news station.
He literally held me hostage. He took all of my identification, my passport, my birth certificate, my social, my bank cards, everything, you name it.
Court documents claim in March of 2022, Bishop raped one of his members after refusing to let her leave. He then posted, the allegation says, the videos onto his social media pages.
So it's like, lock up all the real men, or all the dominant males. Let's lock them all up. You know what? I still forgive her.
Bishop is charged with rape, false imprisonment, and 3 charges of prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions. He's pled not guilty, claiming she consented to participating in the sexual acts and has never held anyone against their will.
I want to apologize if I offended anybody in any kind of way. I said it, the truth, in the wrong way. I stand by everything that I stand by.
The trial kicked off yesterday with opening statements. We want to take a look back together at some of those highlights. First, from the state and then the defense.
The thread that runs through this entire story, really from the very beginning, is a desire, a thirst for knowledge, something on a spiritual level, something that transcends eras, cultures, distance. Young people experiencing and coming out into the world on their own for the first time, longing for a kind of knowledge, spirituality, of belonging. Eligio Bishop promised that. He promised that he had all of the answers to all of their questions, the answers to their prayers, and that he could fill their spiritual voids. He alone could speak the truth. He alone showed them what they could be, in tune with nature, living off the land, a communal sort of paradise. Newell first saw Eligio Bishop and his group in a restaurant where she worked. She was 22. It was about 2018. She was intrigued. The way they dressed, the way they talked, they seemed so genuine. She kept in touch with the defendant online, and she was planning a trip overseas to Bali. Instead, she left home and joined the defendant's group. Another thread that runs through this case is power. This defendant's desire to maintain power over the people in his group. There was this atmosphere of fear and violence within the group, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Who was going to be next? Power, accomplished through the ever-looming threat of physical violence. The second part of that preface, though, what the defendant did with that power. The answer to that, the evidence will show, is sex. You will hear, again from the former members, that this defendant had his choice of the women in the group. When he reached his room, he grabbed her in his arms and literally would not let her go. She was crying, and she told him she had to leave, but he would not let her go. He asked for sex one last time. She told him no. She had to leave, but he would not let her go. He asked again and again. She said no, again and again. He put her on the bed. She told him no. She had to leave, but he would not let her leave. He asked again, one last time. And finally, after countless times of saying no, realizing she wasn't leaving that room unless she gave in, she said, okay. They started having sex and she pushed him off. But even then, he would not let her leave. He flipped her over and penetrated her from behind as she was crying. He escaped the next morning before anyone woke up.
Let's go back and look at March 24th, 2022. This defendant, along with some other people, were living in a house. This essentially was a polygamous relationship. This defendant had a woman that was considered to be his queen, and then there were other women that were there as well. We're not here to hide that from you. That's not what he's charged with, okay? Now, on March 24th, 2022, indicated, based on what she told law enforcement, that she wanted to leave the house. And so she wrote text messages on that day. There will be evidence. But other things that are going to be extraordinarily relevant about March 24th, 2022 is her interview with law enforcement and the different things that she did. So on March 24th, 2022, she ended up leaving the house the next morning, which was the 25th, okay? But on that day, between the time she talks to law enforcement, which is not until April of the next month, essentially, 2 weeks later, she gives an interview to law enforcement. She never actually tells law enforcement that Mr. Bishop raped her. What she did was she came down to the DeKalb County Courthouse and she attempted to get a misdemeanor warrant against Mr. Bishop. And in that misdemeanor warrant, she didn't say anything about being raped. She said that he had posted some videos online that she wanted him to take down. That was it. She never said anything about being falsely imprisoned, because she had to make a sworn application in front of a judge in order to get a warrant taken out. So they scheduled a hearing. In that, there was never a single word about rape. She described going back into the house and that she and Mr. Bishop made love. Those were the words that she used. She additionally said that she believed Mr. Bishop was faking it, that he didn't really love her, but that he was faking being excited to have intercourse with her. Not a single word about rape. Not a single word about false imprisonment. The state's going to say, and they're going to put in evidence to prosecute, that Mr. Bishop falsely imprisoned her. And you just heard the state, through his words, and his words and my words are not evidence, but you just heard the state say that she left the house, she had called an Uber. I can't imagine how you would be falsely imprisoned if you have the ability to call an Uber. But she alleged that she was being beaten by another person. And so because she was being beaten by this other person, she decided to leave. That's what he just said. She packed her bags. Nobody stopped her from packing her bags somehow. She was able to get her paintings out of the storage. Nobody stopped her from doing that. They don't even describe, according to what he just said, Mr. Bishop stopping her from doing anything. She gets outside to an Uber that she's somehow able to call. And yet she's been beaten so bad, according to her. When she gets out to the Uber, she decides that she wants to go back in and say goodbye to a person who allegedly has treated her so bad for so long. That's not false imprisonment.
Still with us, attorney Ron Zambrano. Ron, just very different characterizations of what was going on and what happened. But the state, I thought, delivered a powerful opening to say what he did with that power is the problem, and that he would not let her go, and that he did have sex with her, even though she'd said no, amounting to rape and false imprisonment.
I think it was skillfully done how he laid this foundation of like, this guy had power. He wanted the power. He asked for the power. That's where we're starting from. And then from there, it's this argument from the prosecution side. He abused that power to the extent that he did the crimes that they're allegedly saying he did, such as making sure people can't leave or using or coercing them for sex. And it was only about sex. I think it was beautifully done. And I think the jurors are like, oh yeah, cult leader, power, how did he abuse it? I follow it. I think it's very, very skillfully done.
And quickly, how would you defend that? And what's your best defense?
I think the best defense is, look, she left in an Uber. How bad could she be? And look what she said at the time. But these things are delicate. We have some sexual assault cases, and memory and the way people process things take time. And if the prosecutor is going to do that, they're going to need an expert to explain that.